everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So, 2026 is officially here, and with it, our entire global strategy for dealing with climate change is undergoing a massive, really fundamental, paradigm shift. We're moving from a world that was purely focused on preventing climate change, mitigation, to a world that's actively trying to survive its immediate impacts through adaptation. Okay, let's dive into this because the stakes are literally astronomically high. The United Nations Environment Programme's latest outlook projects an absolutely staggering number. We're talking about an annual $20 trillion economic benefit by 2070 if we invest in the Earth right now. 20 trillion. This isn't just about saving ecosystems anymore. It is entirely about securing the financial future of human civilization. We have this rapidly closing window to completely remake our economies, and doing it right pays off immensely.
So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the shift to adaptation, look at the real costs of extreme weather, talk about navigating the regulatory jungle, explore the AI climate paradox, and finish up with choosing our future. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The shift to adaptation.
Historically, climate action was almost exclusively about the old way, which was mitigation. Cutting greenhouse gases, deploying renewables, and just desperately trying to cap the temperature rise. But since 2024 officially breached that 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold, the new reality dictates that adaptation absolutely has to run parallel to mitigation. We can no longer just try to prevent the fire, we literally have to fireproof the house because, the sparks are already landing on the roof.
And adaptation isn't just some abstract corporate policy, right? It's a harsh human reality. Think about agricultural workers who are facing what we call soft limits, meaning they physically could adapt to the changing climate, but they simply lack the financial or institutional support to actually do so. Then contrast that with migrating communities facing hard limits. This is where the environment has fundamentally changed so much that literally no amount of money or new tech can help them stay in their homes. These people are the front line of our changing world.
Moving on to Section 2. Real costs of extreme weather.
Extreme weather events, droughts, floods, those unprecedented heat waves we're seeing, they're already costing global economies hundreds of billions. But now, what's really interesting about this slide is this absurdly low 2.1% figure. For years, prominent economic models actually predicted that a massive 3 degrees Celsius rise in global temperatures would only cause a tiny 2.1% drop in global GDP. Scientists were sounding the alarm about severely reduced human habitability, yet the leading economic models suggested it would barely be a blip on the financial radar. Crazy, right?
So how did traditional models get it so incredibly wrong? Well, first off, they completely neglected tipping points, like the total collapse of ocean currents. Second, they falsely assumed that indoor sectors, things like manufacturing and services, are just magically insulated from a crumbling outside world. And third, the actual mathematical formulas they were using were literally incapable of calculating a total economic collapse, honestly, no matter how bad the weather got in the simulation.
They also entirely missed some really harsh physical realities, like the wet bulb temperature. At 35 degrees Celsius combined with high humidity, human sweat simply stops evaporating, and the environment basically becomes fatal to a healthy person in a matter of hours. Past economic models essentially looked at how rich a cold state is compared to a hot state today and just sort of assumed we'd turn up the AC. They completely forgot that we humans are biological creatures, not machines immune to the basic laws of thermodynamics.
All right, Section 3. Navigating the regulatory jungle.
As the physical climate shifts, so does the whole global regulatory landscape. Organizations right now are basically trapped in a regulatory jungle between two massive twin dangers. On one hand, you have greenwashing, where regulators are going to severely penalize you for any misleading sustainability claims. But reacting to that strict oversight has triggered a massive and frankly worrying new trend in 2026 called green hushing.
So, the crucial point here is that green hushing is actually incredibly dangerous for global progress. When companies are so terrified of a legal backlash or bad PR that they hide their genuine, actual environmental achievements, it completely destroys verifiable transparency. It prevents cross-sector collaboration because nobody wants to stick their neck out and share what's actually working. We desperately need honest, evidence-based reporting right now, not marketing spin, but definitely not terrified silence either.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, the AI climate paradox.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate 2026 complication. Artificial intelligence is a profoundly revolutionary tool for climate action. We've got projects like Deep Solar using machine learning to map rooftop solar potential nationwide, which gives us incredibly granular, actionable intelligence. But running these massive AI models requires massive data centers, and that creates an enormous, booming demand for energy that is actively straining our already aging power grids. It's a real double-edged sword.
Because of this surging AI energy demand, coupled with the intermittency of older grids, our whole clean energy transition is bottlenecking. Now, renewables have become the absolute most cost-effective power generation globally, which is fantastic news. However, to actually meet our mitigation targets, renewable deployment must increase sixfold. We are literally in a dead heat between building clean energy capacity and feeding the skyrocketing energy appetite of the AI era.
Finally, Section 5, Choosing Our Future.
So despite the extreme weather costs, the regulatory jungles, and those crazy AI energy demands, the latest UNEP report actually gives us a very clear blueprint to right the ship. We need a whole-of-society effort to transform 5 interconnected systems all at once. We have to realign our economic and financial systems to support the environment, which then funds the shift to circular materials and waste models. That requires drastically scaling renewable energy, which powers overhauled, efficient food systems and ultimately protects our natural world. It's like a giant puzzle. You can't just fix one piece. They all have to co-evolve together.
I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. The transition from mitigation to adaptation is not just a survival tactic. It is, without a doubt, the greatest economic restructuring of our time. That $20 trillion benefit we talked about, it is waiting for us in a stabilized world. So how will your organization, your community, and your own personal strategies adapt to secure a place in that future? The window of opportunity is closing fast, for sure, but the future is still ours to choose. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.